everyone, it's Joy here for Tailored Expressions. I am super excited to share this very adorable card using new products from the baby release. Now, one of the first products I'm using is the Littlest Laundry, and isn't this just so darling? I am in love with these. The Cloudy Skies Piercing Plate, then the Oh Baby Script Die, the Mini Strips Baby Sentiments, and then I will be using the Mini Strips Coordinating Die. Also, I'm using the Frame in Frame 2 cutting plate, the Diagonal Diamonds background, which I actually ended up not using in this card. I am using the Saint Nick Stencil, the Foam Sticky Circles, Sea Salt, Sugar Cube, Poblano, and Blue Corn Cardstock, some blender brushes, and a palette knife. Then I'm using Poblano Pepper, Blueberry, Toffee, and Blue Corn ink, Glitter Grab, and Sugar Cube glitter. So we're going to start with the background first because it's going to need a little bit of time to dry. So I'm going to do some ink blending starting with this blue corn that I'm going to work around this whole A2 size background. This is cut large enough so that way we can use the Cloudy Skies Piercing Plate after the ink blending is done. The reason why I like to do it that way is because I think when you ink blend after something has been die cut or embossed, you're going to catch some of the ink on those images. If that's the look you're going for, then that's fabulous, but that's not the look I was going for. So I'm going to do the ink blending first. Now the second color that I used was blueberry. The first color was blue corn, then blueberry, and then that center color is Poblano pepper, which is just absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to do this 2 times to get a really good ink blend. Now this is dye ink, so it does look splotchy right now, but once all that ink has soaked into the paper, it looks absolutely gorgeous. So if you're ink blending with dye ink, just know that if it looks splotchy at the beginning, don't panic, it will get better as that ink dries. But I'm coming back in with that blue corn, then blueberry, then Poblano pepper right in the center. Here's that wonderful Cloudy Skies piercing plate. So it's just going to give you the piercing marks of the cloud. So it's not going to die cut anything. So I had to trim my cardstock to an A2 size because it's not going to trim around the edges. It's just going to give you the clouds in a piercing manner on that background. And it is so, so cute. Isn't that so fun? Okay, so now I'm going to tape this down to my grid paper and I'm going to come in with the Saint Nick Stencil, tape that in place, and I have the Glitter Grab and the Sugar Cube glitter that I'm going to be doing. So I have my palette knife. This Glitter Grab is thin in a good way, like it's not super thick. It spreads really, really easy. I want to make sure I get a good coverage because this is what's going to hold on to that glitter. Making sure I get all of those stars on the background and then just scraping up the excess. But I didn't want to put the rest of it into my jar because it was tinted by that ink, so I just wiped it on my work surface. And I will wash that stencil and my palette knife as soon as I'm done spreading on this glitter. Now when I sprinkle on the glitter, glitter is going to stick to the whole background, but don't panic. That will wipe off once everything is dry. Now I'm going to die cut the Littlest Laundry. I'm using one of the lines. And I came in with Toffee ink and just added a little bit to the cardstock because I want to die cut those little, like the laundry pins, I can't even think of what they're called, that hang your clothes on the laundry. I wanted that to be the Toffee ink. I die cut the line from the Sugar Cube cardstock. I am die cutting the little stars and moon from the Blue Corn cardstock. And then the Sea Salt cardstock, I am die cutting the cute little pajamas. Now here is the Frame in Frame 2 cutting plate. I'm going to die cut that from Sugar Cube cardstock 3 times. I'm going to run that through using some low tack tape to hold it in place. Here's the 3 times. I'm doing that because I want this frame to have some dimension. So I'm just going to use some liquid glue to adhere these together. And this is going to give us just a little pop of dimension on this card. I'm going to adhere the last piece onto the other 2 pieces, making sure everything lines up nicely. And then I can just put that aside. Now I'm going to add the cute little blue corn moon to the jammies, and I'm going to bring in a white gel pen and add a little bit of detail to the sea salt pajama background. I thought adding just a little bit of white pen would be really cute. So I did some lines and some dots around the neck, on the sleeves. I did some dots underneath the moon. And then I colored in the toes of the pajamas white. And so it's really subtle, and I really wanted this to be soft because everything else is gonna kind of pop. So I'm just gonna add those dots around the moon, and then look at how cute that is. I love this, they're so darling. Okay, now I have used the Oh Baby script. I die cut that from Poblano pepper and sugar cube cardstock. I'm going to use some liquid glue to adhere the Poblano one to the sugar cube one, offset a little bit. I felt like I needed some white behind this script because it is going on top of that darker blue background, and just having a little bit of a white shadow behind it definitely made it pop and easier to read. So just a little bit of liquid glue and putting that in place, and this little scripty sentiment is darling. Now let's get this card together. So I'm going to adhere that framed panel. Remember, we glued 3 of these together so it's nice and thick right in the center, and then we have that nice Poblano pepper ink right in the center, so it's kind of like a highlight spot where the cute little pajamas are going to be put in place. I used the foam sticky circles to give that some dimension. I'm going to adhere the clothesline. Oh, those things are called clothespins. It just came to me. So I'm going to adhere the clothesline, and then I'm going to have those little toffee colored clothespins adhered. You could just die cut these from Toffee cardstock, but I just thought I've got the white cardstock here. It's just easier, and I can just color it with the ink. I'm going to put those in place and make sure that the pin is attached to the clothespin and to the clothesline. And isn't that so cute? I just love this die set. It's so darling. I know I just keep saying it, but it really is. Now I'm going to attach the Oh Baby scripty sentiment at the top. Those 2 sides are just going to be adhered onto the frame. And then we're going to do more of the sentiments using the mini strips Baby. So I'm going to stamp that onto some sugar cube cardstock with the Poblano pepper ink. I just thought I would bring that in since the Oh Baby is Poblano pepper. I'm going to ink up that whole stamp set. I'm going to do that a couple times so I get a nice, good, crisp image. Then I can use the coordinating mini strips die to die cut this out. I'm going to line up those little square registration marks on the side, and then tape that down in place with some low tack tape and run that through my die cut machine. And then we have all of these die cut sentiments that you can have for future projects. I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape behind that sentiment, and I'm going to put that in place on the bottom, and I will adhere this card to a white A2 size card base. And then this card is finished, and look at how darling this is. This baby release collection is so, so cute. Thank you guys so very much for watching. You can find all of these products at the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com.